Abu 7, you were looking at a sea of people that took to the streets in Greece protesting against mandatory vaccination. Many people taking to the streets and clashing with the police and standing up for their rights and voicing their opinions. This all began yesterday as these protests broke loose in Athens, people clashing with the police and people not happy about the talk of mandatory vaccination. All this is set to go into effect September 1st inside of this country. And there were thousands out here in this Syntagma Square rallying, as you can see here. People were on the rooftops filming this, and people were saying that see all the tear gas being emitted right there, all those clouds, that was drifting its way to the upper balconies, even to where this person was filming, and they can say that it burns bad. There was that much chemical disbursement in the air during all this. But you can see here the crowds of people rallying, and you have to ask yourself, what is happening in your country? What is happening in your neck of the woods? Are people making a stand against tyranny? Well, if it's not happening in your neck of the woods, you better find somewhere that's making a stand close by. You better get with it or you're going to get left behind. If you want to join us, we're having a march Tuesday, September 21st in the Northern Kentucky area. Email me, dabu7@yahoo.com if you want to join us and get active and actually get up off that ass and do something.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Starting verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell with Salakia. 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. The point is, there shall be sedition. So when you go into the word sedition, it's literally meaning like uproars. The book of Matthew, chapter 24, when Yahushua was speaking to the disciples, talks about in the days how there will be uproars of the people. And clearly, that's prophecy you see in Greece. Now today is the second. He said that was supposed to take place or take effect as far as their mandates on the first. It's funny because a lot of these countries is doing everything in September as well. So letting you know that it's all one agenda. And as you can see, you're going to have other countries and places that's going to stand up. Who's to say what's going to happen here for people to, grow a pair of nuts. But anyhow, because people can get so upset about so much other stuff. You would think they would be getting upset about this, but anyhow, that is one of the reasons why the devil gonna have to come down with great wrath. The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12 says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." At the end of the day, it talks about in the book of Daniel, chapter 8, about with his policy, meaning passing these laws. There's another scripture. It talks about, basically, it talks about woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees. These mandates are laws that they're putting in place, and it's going to affect a lot of people. And if people was unhappy about, the curfews, how much more so these mandates? Because these mandates will be mandatory. And that's going to create a reaction out of the people, which is going to create a reaction out of this devil to give him, because he, at the end of the day, like the elders and other brothers went into, it's a movie called The Chaos Theory. And when you go into that, actually, that's why this is what all this is based on. They think that they could control the chaos. You know what I mean? Basically, the movie went into the concept that chaos isn't completely random. It happens for a purpose. And you can also, like the quote that a lot of brothers I think the elder made mention of it recently as well. I want to say Elder Apostle Gabar said, never let a good crisis go to waste. So this all this is going to do is force them to come down more draconian and make an example to the world, and and call Allah Yahweh Hashem Yahshua that we living in amazing times. You know, so I'm gonna end the lesson with this one scripture because, like I said, I saw this early this morning when I came in from the plantation, and I wasn't in the spirit to do a video at that moment, but I said I was gonna speak on this when I woke up, Lord willingly. So this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 9, because people need to understand what time we in. It's the book of Second Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. Verse 2, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. If you go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2, I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for a point in time." The vision, meaning these prophecies. The vision. When you go into the scriptures, you understand that the prophets were named or labeled or titled seers because they had the visions that the Most High gave them, and they were visionaries. The Most High blessed them with eyesight, with the spiritual eyesight to see and relate to the people, the things that was to come. It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Meaning, it shall speak, meaning these prophecies. And, it tells you in scripture that the Most High is not a man that he shall lie. If he said it will happen, it will happen. I was thinking about the short the clip that they put in with the guy Shabazz, the disciple. And, I guess he's from New York, but I guess he a rapper because I went and looked him up. He got like videos on YouTube, but he also believed in the truth, And he was saying, he said basically, no prophecy has failed, and it tells you scripture, no prophecy will, Most High is not a liar. It tells you wait for it. It's not a lie. So at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, though it take its time, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So it's gonna come to pass. And like I said, if you sit back and if you actually observe it, if you are blessed with a spiritual eyesight as well, you can see the Most High is like setting up everything perfectly. Like when famine coming, it ain't just gonna be famine. It's gonna be people homeless. You know what I mean? It's gonna be people set up. So it's literally gonna be Amos 5:18. You know, the day of the Lord. You know, to what end is it? To what end is it for you? Because like brother brought out, I forgot who I was listening to. Basically, he was saying how that's what these Christians. This scripture is perfect for these Christians. It's lucky these Christians because they want the Messiah to come back, but they don't even understand that they not even truly following the law, such and commandments. You know what I mean? They eat pork, they doing all this blasphemous going off, breaking the law, statutes, but they thinking that they right with the Most High because, for whatever reason, stuck in that plantation Christianity. And like I said, I got this book that I was reading that I did one lesson. I seen at least two more, but it's a very fascinating book because, certain things by coming in this truth, I was led to certain truths, which is beautiful, called Law and some of the things mentioned in the book were things I was already aware of, but there's a lot of stuff it wasn't. So I figured I was gonna let it pass around through the camp because I've been had this book, but through the spirit I wasn't able to really read it. Things going on. Scriptures are more important, and yada yada yada. I rarely. Well, I used to read a lot of secular books, but now, you know, but I had got this book at the time of I call myself delving into history and researching and whatnot. It was a great book. Nonetheless, back into Second Ezra chapter 9, it says then chapter 9, verse 2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the eyes will begin to visit the world which he made. So he's saying, you watching for the signs, and when you see these signs taking place, reminding you of Matthew chapter 24, then you know it's the time wherein the eyes will begin to visit the world he made. Verse 3, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars, that's an uproar, that's a prophecy, that's coming to pass. Of the peoples in the world, and it's not just here. Because, and the thing is, you would think this happened on what they said before the first. So I know I seen it yesterday, but they said the mandates was going to take effect on the first. Today's the second. Why isn't this being covered in the news, in the media? There's an agenda behind it, correct? Well, that's what your mind should actually be thinking. Verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Verse 5, because it tells you in the book of Romans the things that's written down are for our learning. I think it's the book of Romans. Salakia, if I'm going off. Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. You see in the end manifest right now. Like I've heard a few brothers make mention of. The brother Bakor Moth is one I could quote or mention off the top of my head. But like he said, I forgot what video was the title of the video. He was like, this is the end. You at the end of the world. I think the elder Manata Zakba, South Carolina, and we call with it to show you how that's all through the spirit. Just like the brother Ricard Moff was making a statement. He was like, when all the way the Lord doing this, if you got to give up your job based on you ain't taking the jab, you like, woe is me, woe is me. And trust me, I've been in that woe is me spirit. But at the same time, he like, it ain't just you gonna be in that predicament. You gonna have other brothers. You gonna have niggas 2/3. You know what I mean? So when basically, he like, you gotta remember the time this is coming. They doing this right before winter, so that's gonna break some people. He like, but you gonna be actually able to be able to like look at it. Look at all them years you went out there on the highways and hedges during the winter. And we ain't talk about like we in cities like Cleveland and Chicago and them cold as Midwestern states. You know what I mean? This. Now, don't get me wrong. I got the opportunity to visit Cali. Cali ain't as warm as you think it is. You know what I mean? Because Cali sits in a valley like Ohio does. I never knew that until I actually went out there. So I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? So, because of it's sitting in the valley, the weather be weird, like Cleveland. That's how, because I was in Long Beach. So, you know, the point of me saying all that is to say this: that literally the Lord know what He doing. So, you know, the Lord gave you the truth and opened your eyes for a reason. Now, it don't necessarily have to be for your salvation, because the Lord opened up some men's eyes just to destroy them. You know what I mean? Because they came into the truth and fell out. But like the brother Bakar Moth and the elder Nata Sakbar said, the Lord, like for instance with Daniel, he rescued Daniel out the lion's den. You know what I mean? What, you know what I mean? Like, if he was just gonna destroy him, you know what I mean? Like, why rescue him? You know what I mean? Like, and this is where it's about to come in times of big faith. Them accounts that's written of and read in scriptures. What do those miracles, you know, for miracles like that to take place again, you gonna have to go out on leaps of faith. You know, that's just, you know, I mean, that's just plain and obvious. And, like I said, it's one thing to be speaking about these things when things is good, when you can leave camp and go to a restaurant or go home and mess with an Eve or whatever. It's a whole totally different thing when you about to be off living in these elements. You know what I mean? Now, I was just thinking about something myself, and then the spirit jumped on me. I said, well, Dad, why would I do that if I might not be working? You know what I mean? Like, right. So, we all need to prioritize, and the priority is dealing and putting Yahweh Shem Shah first and foremost, because, you know, without that trust and foundation with Yahweh Shem Shah, you lost already. It's like if you already go into the fight with the defeatist mindset. If you trying to do this any other way outside of the straight gate, you is gonna lose. If you trying to do it or plan this out as far as going through this any other way besides making Yahweh Bashim Yahushua your rock, you doomed. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole, India, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua or be destroyed. With that, because I mean, as you can see from the video, things are only gonna get more violent. That you see all them people, what is they gonna do with that? It's just like when I was just locked up. You know what I mean? It's 2,000 prisoners. It's 300 employees. What the fuck you think they gonna do? They not about to go. You know what I mean? What do you think they gonna do? Call in the National Guard? You know, right? They shoot you with rubber bullets when they got real ones too. You know? So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rachak with the thumb. That will honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad. You know, other nations appear like other nations, but subscribe to this truth to you. I say shalom. Until next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Muwath lababal. Shalom.